is quite so far away. Good morning, Tux. Come on, bud. I have not seen Morris this morning. Hopefully I'll call him and he'll show up. Come on, Tuxie. Here you go, bud. Tuxie, come here, buddy. I know Stripe's down there, but if you'll just hop up. Come on, bud. Hi. Are you going to need help this morning? A convincing? It's safe. I promise it's safe. You're not coming? Come on, bud. Come on. Come on, Tux. Hi. Yeah. There you go. Good morning. Hi. Hi. This is Marty. Not the right orange kitty. A great orange kitty, but not the one I'm looking for. I'll stop recording and I'll holler. Oh, I see Morris. He's in the chair up there. Morris, come on, buddy. Good morning. I don't know why he's not running down out of the chair. Maybe he got into it with something. But anyway, I see him and he looks fine. Come on, Morris. Come on, buddy. Here he comes. Not super fast, but he's coming. You go, Mama, I was sleeping. They do still sit in that chair up there sometimes. It's right on the property line. But it gives somebody that needs it a timeout spot. A spot where they're not liable to get bothered by anything. So I leave it there. Usually they hang out on the mushrooms here much closer to the house. Hi, good morning. Yeah, thank you for coming down even though you were tired. And straight to me. Good boy. Did you eat something that you don't care about food this morning? I don't see any boo-boos or anything concerning. Thank you for coming down so I could check you in person, bud. Good boy, Morris. Everything seems to be okay on the homestead today. I was out there with the water just on the new things that were put in the ground like 10 days ago. The viburnum and the tea olive. And the one rhododendron that was old, but it's up on the sunnier part. Anyway, everything's looking good and we got a chance of rain the next 4 days. So God help us, please, one of those 4 days rain. Hey, Gray. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Hi, sweetie pea. Hi. Good girl. Good girl. Well, we've made it up to South Park and we've got 30 minutes to walk, which is certainly better than not walking. It's hard on Tuesdays. JB's still snoozing or up reading, doing his morning thing. Don's gotten through a conference call. I made sure no plants would wilt today as best as I could. It's all good. There, a little lower. Phew! I am headed to do my normal stuff today. Get the good heavy whipping cream. I don't need a lot from Whole Foods, but I will get what I need. I don't know what they're doing at the exit over there. They've got a big crane lift thing. I don't know. Guess we'll find out when we get over there. I realize there's trees and cars in the way. And you guys can't see it even as good as I can see it, and I can't see it good. Well, over on the basketball court, they're putting the awnings up over the benches. About time. Really, here in North Carolina, I don't understand why for what amounts to 4 months they bothered to take them down, but whatever. Maybe they'll last a little longer, because you might remember what happened last year is people started stealing the hardware after they took the fabric off. And that wasn't so good. They're loading up big pieces of tree. It came from closer to the community center building. They were working on it yesterday, and I guess they just didn't get it all carried away. They must have thought it was threatening the building. Having fun? Good. Wow, look at all that clover. Woo! Lots of trash to pick up today. We did talk to the Parks and Rec guys, the guys that mow, that were putting up the shades for today's mission. The awnings, the covers. They're not in love with the prairie garden and all the weeds and not mowing it, but they're probably not going to mow it again this year. I had to ask. You know I did. I just had to ask. This dump truck pulled right out in front of me. I am unhappy. At least he has his load covered and he kind of has a mud flap. They're not very long for the size of the truck. I don't see a license plate, probably by design. That's very common. And not because they fall off or they get stolen, because I think they don't want to be identified, and they'll do it as long as they can get away with it. Anyway, I'm driving so I can stay back a good distance, because obviously I don't want rocks off the road or off the load coming at Ruby. Yeah. The construction vehicles on this road is just abysmal. Might be a reason to go the other way and take Highway 55 instead. So did you guys hear about the guy in Minnesota that they caught that vandalized, I believe, several Teslas, not just one? Did about $20,000 worth of damage. And the police department reports that, you know, they did the investigative work. They have the data to prove that he did it. They brought up, you know, charges to, I guess, the district attorney. And then the attorneys, they decided they're not going to press charges. They're not going to have a court case. They're not going to take him to court. And I just want to know, in what bizarre United States world we can be in that people break the law. And I'm not talking about a kid making a mistake with a pack of chewing gum, although I think there should be consequences for that too. But, you know, serious financial stuff here, and they're gonna just not press charges. I don't understand. And this comment has nothing to do with whether or not the breaking the law is related to Tesla or not, although it makes me even more mad in this case, I guess, in all fairness. But, you know, really anything. If you're gonna, you know, all it does is send a message, well, we don't care if you get away with it or not. Sure, just go out and vandalize a few more, some other people's hard-earned vehicle property. You know, we won't protect you. The thing I was asking myself, is there any way that we can go over their head? Is there anything that can be done that can, you know, go over this, you know, whoever was responsible, because I think it's like the district attorney, but I forget what the article said. Whoever's responsible for deciding, can we, and under what grounds? I mean, I you know, you see stuff on TV where victims' families don't feel like they got justice. You know, it's a common storyline. And well, it doesn't have to do with death or injury, but here's a example of, you know, real life crime and victims of the crime not getting appropriate justice. So, I don't know. I think the, you know, justice should match the crime, and, you know, $20,000 is you have your wages garnished, or, you know, you spend some time, a small amount of time at least, in a prison cell. So you get the idea that this was definitely a mistake. Anyway, it's kind of infuriating. It's kind of infuriating. So I guess the earnings call is today, right? Always interested in the earnings call. Don't know if we'll have a chance to watch it based on JB being here and what we're into doing and what kind of a day we have with getting things done that need done, but obviously we'll follow the synopsis outcome results of the earnings call. There's some anticipation about some new castings that we're seeing outside of Giga Texas that we don't exactly know what they're for. I would say that picture being allowed to be seen was by design and not an accident. That's just an opinion that I have. A little pre-earnings call tease. I don't know. I certainly will be interested to hear. There was a company update mentioned and not just the earnings report. You know, it's been coming up for years now, and it continues to come up as should Elon remain CEO of Tesla. And my sentiments on it, which I shared in a response to someone's post on X, is I guarantee you I won't feel the same about Tesla if Elon's no longer the CEO. Now, I'm not really... I should have gone around the dump truck, but I was running my mouth. There's a Rivian over to my right. I mean, it's just true. It's just how I feel about it. You know, I'm entitled to my opinion as much as anybody else, but I'm not really interested in a Tesla that Elon is not highly involved in, and I still think he's highly involved in it, even though, you know, he's also highly involved in a lot of things. The man has a lot of ability to multitask or use his time wisely, or have good people working for him that can handle some of the stuff well. All of those things, I think. So anyway, I don't think that's going to be announced today, but if it were to be announced, I would be livid. I would be so up. I'm sure it's not, because it would be like letting all of those people win that I don't agree with. So, sorry to be so opinionated today, but when I drive, when I'm out and about in Ruby, I tend to talk about things I don't talk about on days when I'm home doing home stuff, I guess. But I am looking forward to what they're gonna say. So last night, kind of late, I did get a chance to work on the botanical garden a bit. I actually did 3 bags. One was the 2 trees for the inside of the building that kind of drop into these little planter box holes that I made early on when I was doing the foundation. And they came out kind of neat. Trees that the parts don't go in a 100% precise way, they kind of drive me nuts. I'm a counted cross stitch girl. I'm a straight lines girl. And so when you put the fauna pieces on and they kind of need an artistic flair to get them to look right, that's harder for me. I'm going to stop short of saying I don't like it. It's just harder for me. I'm never sure I have it looking quite right. I think they look good. I think the one tree in particular, the other one is more of a given as to how it's got some flexibility in it, but it was more of a given, a palm tree kind of a thing. But the other one was a little more, but I got the 2 trees done, and then I built the frame for the rest of the roof that all of the other little clear plastic pieces go in. So I don't know if I'll have time to work on it tonight or not, but if I do, I'll have the rest of the plastic roof on top. And then, let's see, I've got 3 bags left or 4 bags left, plus the extra loose plastic pieces. I think after the next bag with the plastic roof on, I think the rest of what's left is all of the flowers along the front or whatever. And that needs to be done with a little bit of care, so I probably would not start doing that tonight. But I might. The plastic roof goes on is pretty straightforward. I scrolled ahead and looked at the instructions, and plus I had already done the 2 little pieces on the side. So I think that will actually go together pretty quick. It's a bunch of big pieces and just enough white smaller pieces to hold those pieces together, and then it lays down up top there, and it's pretty straightforward. But it's been a great set. I highly recommend. It's gorgeous. Putting it on the Mills plate is perfect because I can pick that heavy thing up and carry it wherever, and it doesn't buckle or bend or mess up my build. Or that was totally the way to go. and not really complicated. Once you've done one Mills plate, you're basically good for the rest of forever. There was a small, and I do mean small, learning curve with the first one, but it's manageable. It's just math. So I guess if math is not too hard, then it's pretty easy. It's just a little math. I was just looking, Lego announced a new Japanese maple bonsai build. I guess I'm probably gonna have to get that one. Maybe not the day that it comes out, but I'm probably gonna have to get that one. And then there's these two little happy pots, which are adorable, absolutely adorable, as another set. And then there was one more that the quick thing that I read didn't show, but there was one more floral tagger something. So these are June 1st releases. May is Star Wars month at Lego. You're not going to hear too much about anything else but Star Wars. Whoops. That's me driving. Alright, well, I miss the days of getting on the turnpike and there not being that being the first exit, and there not being anybody coming from the other direction. I'm just going to say I miss that. People coming from behind, it just totally changes the ease of transitioning there. Yeah, she's wanting to drop her speed, so I engaged, but I've got to keep my foot on the accelerator so she doesn't drop her speed. Got 73 max set. I take my foot off and she still wants to go down to 66. You cannot do that. If you're at a high rate of speed and you've got the max set for what you're going or more than what you're going, do not drop the speed. All right, I'm letting her do it her way today. You see, she's not in the lane that I want her to be in. And she's getting over, and it was clear to get over, but I mean, which is better driving, do you think? You use the lane that's closest to the lane you want to be in and the turn that you want to make, or you get in the right lane and then you have to navigate across two lanes to get in the turn lane? I'm just gonna have the opinion that my way's better, but I let her handle it today. I did. I let her do it all on her own. A friend encouraged me to do that. So, and I got lucky. There was nobody coming. Not saying, you know, what's the worst thing that happens in any of these maneuvers is the car goes around to the next light and makes a U-turn or something. You know, re-navigates you to where you were trying to get to if it can't get over. But it's just now 11, so I'm technically late. Oh, well. I noticed this lyric when I drove past. And the thing I noticed about it, I don't think I've ever seen one that wasn't a white, light gray, or silver color. This one's brand new. I'd say it's a new model year. But the lights coming down off the roof on the side are interesting. So Don fell asleep last night and Jay Leno's Garage came on with his show about the, I'm gonna say, I think it's a Celestique. It has a celestial shortened word name. Anyway, it's their new EV, and I guess there was one funny line about, but does it have a drain hole for a beer cooler or for, you know, beer? I think the guy from GM, from Cadillac, wasn't aware about the Mach-E having it and Sandy liking it and Jay liking it, and now the Y has it. I think he didn't know. There's a Y I haven't seen before down here on the end. Anyway, it was kind of cute. I didn't hate it. I liked it more than the Lucid, but I wouldn't drive it. Janice gave me an extra 10 minutes today. She must not have had anybody behind her. I told her I've been working in the yard and definitely have been feeling it. I appreciated the extra electrical massage. Guess that's a garbage truck up there. You know me, and talking and background noise is just like I'm a magnet. So I guess I'm gonna go through the light instead of turning left and check out the Lowe's that's over there and just look at their, gosh darn it, and just look at their flowers. Geranium was half price and a good deal. The New Guinea impatiens are cheaper to buy as a hanging basket for 4 plants than it is to buy 4 plants separate. And I had really good luck splitting up a hanging basket last year, so that's what I'm gonna do this year. I left climate on at 78, and the air's coming from up top, not down below, so I think the plants will be fine. Obviously, if I didn't think that, I wouldn't have bought them. Okay, who wants to be a summer Uncle Sam? It's kind of cute. Easter was 50% off, so I got the garden shop, a grocery store, and a covered bridge. And there's also a willow tree figure with flowers in her hands, and it's definitely one I don't have. So any of the ones with flowers that I don't already have, I get. Although, you know, I have most of them. Well, my trip into Whole Foods was so fun today. It was. The first fun thing is there were like 10 different pickers in the store fulfilling online orders and pickup orders. And they're always fun to navigate around. So that was number one way that it was great. Number two, well, actually the guy at the meat market is the meat counter's learning. And he was very polite and he was very helpful. But he didn't get the butcher wrapping paper school. So Al came out and very nicely showed him how to wrap. A very tight, you know, professional. I've been doing meat for 30 years wrap, and I'm sure the kid will get better. Plus he's got the right attitude. So that wasn't actually a bad thing. And then I wanted one of the cans of the Zevia root beer. And they had one top shelf all the way at the back. Even if I stood on the I guess refrigerated case, I wouldn't have been able to reach that root beer. So I politely walked up to the front desk, and my friend Clarissa was up there, and I said, some days I think the store wants to kill me, because I asked Dawn, I'm always complaining I can't reach stuff on the top shelf in that store, and I've hurt my shoulder before reaching, wanting stuff without having. So I did try to find someone in the vicinity. Plus this needed to be like a young kid or a guy that was 6'5". So I said, can you, I took a picture, I showed her, I said, can you send somebody to retrieve that for me from up there? I really need a cold root beer. And she got tickled off of it, and she called somebody, and a nice young kid met me over there and was able to get it for me. So that was good. And it started out with, the fourth thing was Amazon return. I had ordered 3 new outdoor hats with the neck cover. And if I order pretty girl colors, they're too small for me. I ordered a red one. I loved it. It was too small. I ordered a blue one, which sort of fit okay, but the way they shipped it, they totally bent the brim on it. And I'm not starting out with a brand new hat with the bent brim. And then the beige one I ordered, that of course fit perfect and had no issues with how it was packaged, was the ugliest color and looked, it was a guy hat, so it fit. It looked the worst that it could be. So I had a return thing, right? So Amazon did several not fun things. First off, they showed the picture for one of the hats for all 3 of the return barcodes in the app. And then it actually used the same one up at the top for all 3 of them. And they tried to tell me I was going to have to call customer support to sort it out and do all, you know, they couldn't help me, and looked at me like, well, it says it's already been used, so where else did you get it scanned? And I'm like, none of those things were true. So finally, the manager girl, she went down to the individual items in my list of orders. Imagine having to scroll through my Amazon orders, especially a couple days after subscribe and save came. Yeah, but she found them 3 or 4 screens down. She found them. And then the barcodes were right under the individual items. But she tried to send me away with a card to go call Amazon, and that wasn't going to be good, and I didn't want to do that. But she did fix it, and I did stay calm but determined. So they They sorted that out for me. So, like, I don't know. FSD needs to drive me home because I'm super stressed now. I told Don this morning he didn't know how lucky he was. He didn't have to deal with Walmart or anywhere else anymore for stuff because I do all of that for us. He used to, you know, when he was a single guy, go buy stuff at Walmart. And I remember he'd be so upset about it the next day he would come into work and he would still be talking about how long he had to wait and what people were doing in the store and in the line. He'd sound like me. He's so lucky now. We've clouded up, but no sign of showers on the radar yet. We do still have a chance of a shower today. I'm pulling for a shower.
So it's time to clean the lead screws again. You can see how dirty they are. So we looked and they've got a tool that clean the grease. And it's got magnets. I just super glued these magnets in there. You put a paper towel in here and you slip this onto over the lead screw. You put 3 of them on because you got 3 lead screws, and the magnets hold it to the plate, and then of course the little paper towel there, and you just raise the bed up and down a couple times, and it will wipe the old grease out of the off the thing. And because you can't see it, but that one way back there, that one's hard to get to, but with this tool it's gonna be real easy. So we'll find out. Right now she's printing something, so I can't actually clean it, but I will do it this afternoon. Okay, I got the tools installed with a piece of paper towel. I got all 3. There's magnets. I glued the magnets to the bottom of it. And JB's here just to supervise. So we're going to see how this thing works. We'll see if we can get a lot of smoke out of it. I mean, that's what you do, right? Whoops, that's the wrong thing. They're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. But this, like I said, this one back here is the one that's the real pain in the butt to do. So, yeah, all right. So we'll work at it a little bit more, see what we can do. Okay, so we're gonna try it. The little tools were a bust. They didn't do well at all. I mean, they wiped the grease on the outside really good, but if you notice how clean this is kind of shiny and this is kind of dark, right? And that's because I cleaned it with the string. I recommend you get a string and just wrap a string around it. And of course I've got it wound the wrong way, clockwise and counterclockwise, so that you can make it travel up or down. I think I got it right now. Yeah, there we go. And just let the string out a little bit more, and it just travels right up the thing and gets dirtier and dirtier. This is pretty easy.
I want to see you loop it, the back one.
Yeah, well, if I can get it looped around there, it won't be too much of a trouble. But you might be onto something there, JB. Yeah, this is just cotton kite string type stuff. I mean, there's nothing special. I would say we're good.
All right, it's time to build the dome. I'm stopping for now. I've done plenty for today. There's one bag left, bag 29, which is the tree that goes here. When I do that, I will place the minifigures, which I haven't done yet, and I will see if there's anything else I want to add. I'm loving it. It's pretty darn phenomenal. Well, the sky is still really seriously rumbling out there. I got lots of stuff, lots of choices here for our Tuesday tacos, Taco Tuesday. I think our rain's mostly done. I was going to see how my solar things are doing, and then most of them went off because when I came outside, all the lights are on. Well, that one new solar light up door is pretty cool, and the door opens and there's stairs in there, so that's kind of neat. I am not seeing, however, the sky's nowhere near that pretty right now. It's much darker. But that's okay. My fairy garden over here, the mushroom thing's not lit up. There's like one of my little solar sticks isn't lit up and the mushrooms aren't on, but again, I don't know. I don't know if they're off, not working, or didn't charge up enough, or I don't know. And everything's wet out here, so I can't start touching stuff right now and trying to fix things. Hi, Tux.